Герхард Шаумбергер, глава Офиса по техническому сотрудничеству посольства Австрии в Кишиневе, занимает эту должность уже 3 года. До этого работал в Афганистане в рамках проекта по поддержке работы правительства. В Черногории возглавлял офис Австрийского Агентства по Развитию. В Вене также работал в рамках Австрийского Агентства по Развитию, занимая должность эксперта по оценке проектов. В Киргизии и Таджикистане работал при ОБСЕ. В целом опыт работы в развивающихся странах превышает 10 лет. Господин Шаумбергер, добрый день.
Добрый день.
Агентство по развитию Австрии предоставляет поддержку бизнес-сотрудничеству для того, чтобы молдавские компании начинали партнерство с австрийскими компаниями. Какую именно поддержку вы оказываете и на каких условиях?
We support business cooperation with companies who want to invest into Moldova. And we can support a company with up to 50% of the project value, up to 200,000 euros, if it's more companies, even more, in case these companies create an added value in the country, meaning if they create jobs, if they're doing something for the environment, if they're educating, if they're doing something for the security of their employees.
И вы поддерживаете только финансово или помогаете австрийским компаниям найти партнеров в Молдове, или наоборот, молдавские компании обращаются к вам, чтобы найти партнеров в Австрии?
It can go both ways. The most important thing is that the company is registered in a European Union member state. That can be Austria. We're not against that, but it can be Romania, it can be Hungary, it can be France, wherever.
И все-таки, если говорить об Австрии, то как представитель этой страны, вы, наверное, можете знать, какие сферы бизнеса наиболее интересны австрийским компаниям, австрийскому бизнесу для инвестиций здесь. То есть какие партнерства имеют больше шансов на успех?
There is various sectors which I think are highly interesting. For instance, the agriculture is interesting. Tourism, for instance, that's a field that can be developed, should be developed. Various investors from Austria here. With various experiences, I must say. In industry, the experience is pretty okay, and also in agriculture, while in the financial sector, I would describe the field as rather very challenging.
Два партнерства уже есть, одно в сельском хозяйстве, другое в строительстве. Как проходят эти партнерства?
The one in agriculture it's meteo stations, and this is going very well. There's about 100 meteo stations now in place, and this is really helping the farmers. They get SMS on all kinds of possible diseases or hazards that could come in. It also helps them to use less fertilizer, meaning it protects the environment, but it's also economically more feasible for them and more efficient because they don't have to listen to all these vendors of the fertilizers, but they can use it very timely and up to the level that the fertilizer is needed. And this is also being educated in schools now to use these meteo stations, this online system. The other one on the Construction Academy, we are also very positive about. It is in a field where more in the mid-segment staff is needed in Moldova. These people, and also learning the European standards in construction is part of this project, and we are very excited about the time to come because it's also a try to educate the people dual, meaning it's not only theory-driven education, it's also very practical. And when I say practical, I don't say only in the school practical, but there's 12 construction companies involved. There is mentors in that companies involved who are taking on the young people and are sharing their knowledge. And construction is one of the areas where investment is coming from the international partners, mostly the development banks, and there we are very positive that also future projects will evolve, but more absorption capacity, better educated human resources are needed.
Ведутся новые переговоры по каким-то другим партнерствам между молдавскими и зарубежными компаниями?
There is still interest, for instance, yes, in agriculture. So we're starting now a new initiative, for instance, for the field of soya. Yeah. We've been very active with wine and especially with the Nisporini Wine School. It's very nice to see how they are getting gold medals, and the wine is being exported now to South Korea, for instance, yeah, also Austria. But beside the wine in agriculture, there is other fields that are much more profitable and also environmentally friendly, which is, for instance, soya. Moldova is in the Danube region, and here you find a very good climate for soya cultivation. Less and less soya is being cultivated, unfortunately, in the past. But we think with the high demand that we have worldwide, it's a mistake, and this could come up again, but it should come up in a qualitative matter. Qualitative in the sense that there is GMO-free soya. The law here in Moldova is very favorable to this, but the quality assurance is, of course, the challenging issue here, because when Moldova starts exporting GMO-free soya and there is a quality label on this in cooperation with Austria, for instance, then it really has to be of the quality standard that it is being sold for. And this future project is looking into this to have the crash crop soya in a quality manner exported to countries of the European Union.
Господин Шаумбергер, не так давно иностранные партнеры по развитию Молдовы представили премьер-министру свои рекомендации. Были там рекомендации и со стороны Австрии. Что вы посоветовали нашему новому премьер-министру?
Yes, Austria was part of this, and we have been actively commenting various recommendations. We have been also part of drafting them, for instance, in the field of, well, mostly in the fields where we have a focus on. We have been proactively been drafting this, which was in environment, climate change, disaster risk reduction. We did this always in very close coordination with the other partners. We have been also commenting and partly contributed to the drafts in vocational education, which is an important sector of cooperation where we think a lot of potential is there, and it is also still a very good atmosphere of reform, of new projects. It's important to say that it was one joint effort of the donor community here, so I would not particularly pick out here too many things on behalf of Austria.
Если говорить о технической помощи Агентства Австрии по развитию, то 90% примерно ваших усилий сосредоточены на проектах по водоснабжению и на проектах по профессионально-техническому образованию. Надо сказать, что оба направления эти актуальны в настоящее время. На 2012 год меньше половины населения Молдовы, за исключением Кишинева, не имели доступа к централизованной системе водоснабжения. Это данные Министерства экологии. Как вы помогаете людям получить доступ к столь необходимым, безопасным источникам воды?
The access to water remains a challenge. It was part of our strategy for the Southwest, strategy from 2011 to 2015. And it was a very simple goal to get the people connected with water, together with the Ministry of Environment, together with the Ministry of Regional Development, with the rayons and the municipalities. We had mostly a focus on two rayons, which is Cantemir and Nisporen. And there we are very positive that this goal will be achieved. You have the Prut and you have the Nista river, which are flowing, and this is part of the approach in areas where you cannot use the groundwater, like the southwest, like Nisporen, like Cantemir, that where you bring in from the Prut river the water in systems with water treatment of the surface water, which is also a good alternative, which is also, by the way, the city of Vienna is having such a system. They're bringing very good water from the south of Austria, from the mountains, in fact, as well.
Но сколько проектов вы уже реализовали, сколько населенных пунктов или домохозяйств получили доступ к воде?
We can say that in Cantemir the system was introduced successfully, and together with our Swiss partners Also, a lot of decentralized systems have been successfully established. For Nisporen, which is a system that is for up to 20,000 people, where the network will be in this first phase now for 13 to 15,000 people. We hope that it will be completed by April next year. No? So there you will see in Grozest, Vazarest, and in Nisporen you will see the streets digged open, and it will not be so beneficial for the traffic, but at the same time we hope that already in 1 year, about from now, people will have that access.
Инфраструктурные проекты в Молдове имеют свойство затягиваться, а финальные затраты часто превышают первоначальную смету. Вы сталкивались с тем, что работы по каким-то причинам длились дольше, чем планировалось, или затраты превышали изначальный план, и в результате чего вам приходилось увеличивать финансирование проектов?
Yes, these situations are happening, and it's very unfortunate, but with our quality assurance and with being close to these projects, we finished so far all the projects, and we never had to interrupt the project, and we will finalize the ongoing projects also in the water sector. But the Moldovan environment is challenging, and one has to plan very carefully in order to be right with the budget. And yes, in Moldova, a lot of unforeseen things during a project. And yes, we also had to increase the budget already. It happens.
Это по объективным причинам происходит или есть какие-то субъективные причины?
I think so far these reasons were, from an economic point of view, all reasonable.
А кто занимается внедрением проектов? То есть инициатива идет от местных властей или инициатива идет от центральных властей? Кому вы выделяете средства?
It's usually a combination, but we are not usually directly negotiating with every primaria. It's not possible for us. We have to coordinate. We have to coordinate first on a central, and then maybe on a raiονal level, and then we can go to the primarias.
Если говорить о профессионально-техническом образовании, то у нас запросы рынка не всегда совпадают с предложением образовательных учреждений. Как вы считаете, что нужно сделать, чтобы вот этот дисбаланс убрать?
Here I think that we are on a good way. In principle, the conditions for dual education, for more practice-oriented education are getting better and better. The first pilots on dual education are going on, and also there is always a lot of criticism also on migration, by the way, but we know that from the Western Balkans, it has sometimes also the advantage that a lot of people with international experience come back one day, also to share their experience and to do something in Moldova and for the society and the people here. But in the system as such, the ministry has embarked on creating centers of excellence, which we think is a very good idea. So really to focus on the quality of the education. We have projects in IT, for instance, also in the water sector, for the electricians, for the construction sector. In those sectors where we can see that there will be growth in the future, it is very good to have that dual approach. To get really good quality education, it takes time. And you need to pilot the curriculum. First you need to develop it, then you need to approve it. And if it's a 3 years curriculum, to get a new curriculum, it takes you 4 years at least. And then you can roll out on a national level. And in the case of Nisporen, we know that in the very beginning, when they said, a school that is producing wine, isn't that a little bit strange? Because this is for the vinzetor and the vinificator, to interlink the two things. In Nisporeni, the farmers, they looked and they said, this is a very strange thing to do. Nowadays, they are very ready to send their own children to that school because they know the success of this school. And in wine farming especially, most of these young people, they go back to their own families and they take over the companies of their parents, which is, we don't have so much small wine farming experience in Moldova, but this is coming up now. That's very important, and in Nisporen we can already see it, that more and more is being done on a family company level. Yeah.
И вся эта поддержка, о которой мы с вами говорили, она оказывается в рамках стратегии, специальной стратегии для Молдовы на 2011-2015 годы. Вы планируете разрабатывать новую стратегию для нашей страны?
Yes, we are already negotiating that, and the new strategy should go until the year 2020. We want to stay in the same sector, professional education. This is something we have to offer, knowledge and experience, and it's the first sector in the Moldova 2020 strategy. So also the Ministry of Education and the State Chancellor agreed on this. While in the water sector we will probably focus more on environment a little bit and also wastewater more in the future. And also climate change, which is a topic that will concern us, all of us. And here I'm speaking about also the landlocked country Austria. Moldova is a landlocked country which will be affected by climate change in many ways, and that will play a role. And I think already in the next 5 years to come, we can see that already in Moldova with droughts and floods and all kinds of little disasters that are happening in agriculture already.
Какая сумма примерно стратегии будет больше, чем предыдущая?
On the particular budget, we are still in negotiation. The budget is not going to get less. This is what I already know. We have also started to bring in soft loans. It's probably also slowly time to switch the modalities a little bit more to this business partnerships, where we have the first two ones going on since the last 3 years, both in the medical sector. But we're planning a new one now, and that is in the field of agriculture as well.